में जानना, महत्वपूर्ण विचार, सोच या रचनात्मक कार्य, इसके बारे में हम जानेंगे। निरंतर समीक्षा, इसके बारे में हम जानकारी प्राप्त।
सुप्रभात। मैं श्वेता चौहान भारती विद्यापीठ इंग्लिश मीडियम हाई स्कूल धनकवड़ी की ओर से स्वागत करती हूँ सभी अभिभावकों का इस ऑनलाइन कार्यशाला में, जिसका विषय है राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 2020, जिसमें चयन किए गए सदस्यों के द्वारा आपको मार्गदर्शन मिलेगा। उपस्थित सदस्यों में है श्रीमती अर्पणा कोलपुर, श्रीमती प्रिया उज्जैनकर, श्रीमती सना शेख, श्रीमती शिरीषा जेके, श्रीमती रेखा मिस्त्री, श्रीमान सत्यवान वाघमोड़े। मैं टाइम वेस्ट किए बिना आगे माइक हैंड ओवर करना चाहूँगी मिसेस सना शेख को।
Good morning. Bharati Vidyapeeth English Medium High School presents webinar on National Education Policy 2020. We welcome all the parents and viewers on behalf of Bharati Vidyapeeth English Medium School. We are grateful to our iconic and visionary founder, Honorable Dr. Patangrao Kadam sir, who laid the foundation of this esteemed institution of education, and Honorable Vijayamala Kadam ma'am, who always support and guide us to lead the path with right virtues. We also appreciate great support of vigilant youth and active members, Honorable Dr. Vishwajit Kadam sir and Honorable Dr. Asmita Kaijapta. Today, I would like to tell first of all the key principles of National Education Policy 2020. First point, respect for diversity and local context. Now, as India is a diverse country, in the curriculum and pedagogy, the policy plans to the curriculum which shows all the diversity and about the local culture of our country. Second point, equity and inclusion as a cornerstone of all educational decisions. Inclusive education talks about socio-economic backgrounds, different intelligences, cultural setups, etc., including all the Divyang students also. That is inclusive education. Third, community participation, encouragement and facilitation for philanthropic, private and community participation. School is not a business, so the policy aims at all the schools running on humanitarian purpose. Fourth, very important, use of technology. In teaching and learning, removing language barriers for Divyang students and technology.
सुप्रभात। मैं श्वेता चौहान भारती विद्यापीठ इंग्लिश मीडियम हाई स्कूल धनकवड़ी की ओर से स्वागत करती हूँ सभी अभिभावकों का इस ऑनलाइन कार्यशाला में, जिसका विषय है राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 2020, जिसमें चयन
and technology also helps in educational planning and management by adopting technology in the right way. And this we have experienced this year in the COVID. Without the technology, it was impossible for the schools to follow the learning process of the students. Fifth point, emphasize conceptual understanding. Here the curriculum system plans for understanding the concepts for the students rather than rote learning and learning for exams. The policy will do away with rote learning. Next point, unique capabilities. Every single child has unique capability, so recognizing them, identifying them and boosting them for their they will be guided. So overall, the vision of the policy is to develop the education which is deeply rooted in the Indian ethos, developing a feeling of nationalism, and it also aims or focuses in developing a child as the best Indian citizen. Over to Satyavan sir.
सुप्रभात। राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 2020 कार्यशाला भारत सरकार द्वारा केंद्रीय मंत्रिमंडल ने देश में स्कूली और उच्च शिक्षा प्रणालियों में रूपांतरित सुधारों राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 2020 को मंजूरी दी है। तो इस कार्यशाला में हम विविध मुद्दों पर चर्चा करेंगे। उसमें सबसे पहले विविध और स्थानीय के लिए सम्मान, इस विषय के बारे में जानेंगे। न्याय नीति और समावेश किस प्रकार है, सामाजिक सहभाग किस प्रकार का है, तंत्रज्ञान का उपयोग किस तरह से हमें करना चाहिए, छात्रों के लिए यह उपयोगी कैसा है, वैचारिक समझ पर जोर देना, अद्वितीय या अनोखी क्षमता, इस विषय के बारे में जानना, महत्वपूर्ण विचार, सोच या रचनात्मक कार्य, इसके बारे में हम जानेंगे। निरंतर समीक्षा, इसके बारे में हम जानकारी प्राप्त करेंगे। अगले विषय की ओर हम आते हैं, परिवर्तनशील पाठ्यक्रम और शैक्षणिक संरचना।
नेक्स्ट स्लाइड।
इस विषय में नई शिक्षा नीति में 10+2 के फॉर्मेट को पूरी तरह से खत्म कर दिया है। अभी तक हमारे देश में स्कूली पाठ्यक्रम में 10+2 के हिसाब से चलता है, लेकिन अब ये 5+3+3+4 के हिसाब से होगा। इसका मतलब है कि प्राइमरी से दूसरी कक्षा तक एक हिस्सा, फिर तीसरी से 5वीं तक दूसरा हिस्सा, और 6ठी से 8वीं तक तीसरा हिस्सा, और 9वीं से 12वीं तक आखिरी हिस्सा होगा। नेक्स्ट।
Previous one, sir. Now here the same thing I would like to explain in English. Up till now we are acquainted with 10+2 system for the school. Now the curricular and pedagogical structure, that is the school structure, will change to 5+3+3+4. 5 year is a foundational stage for age group of 3 to 4 years, which has mini KG, lower KG, upper KG, first standard and second standard. Next comes the preparatory stage for class 3 to 5 with the age group of 8 to 11. Next is 3 years of middle stage, which comprises of standard 6 to 8. Age bar is 11 to 14 years. And last is the important stage, that is secondary stage, for the age group of children 14 to 18 years for the standard 9 to 12. This will be the structure of the school for learning process. Please next slide. Now this school structure changes, and along with that the assessment patterns, learning procedures also change. Now here the National Education Policy plans to take school examinations in grade 3, 5th and 8th. They will stress more on the core concepts rather than rote learning. Regular conduct of assessments will be there for all the schools, government as well as private. Students, that data is anonymized, that means it will not be publicly declared, and the data will be there for, or the results will be with the continuous monitoring and improvement, which will be told to the parents from time to time as per the policy rules. National Education Policy also aims at achievement of basic learning outcomes through assessment of core concepts and knowledge from the national and local curricula, along with relevant higher order skills and application of knowledge in real life situations, and rather than rote memorization. So the curriculum will have national study as well as local area study, and it will be concept based rather than learning the things. Over to sir.
Previous slide, please. The next one.
परिवर्तनशील पाठ्यक्रम और शैक्षणिक संरचना में हम थोड़ा विस्तार।
सुप्रभात, मैं श्वेता चौहान भारती विद्यापीठ इंग्लिश मीडियम हाई स्कूल धनकवड़ी की ओर से स्वागत करती हूँ सभी अभिभावकों का इस ऑनलाइन कार्यशाला में, जिसका विषय है राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 2020, जिसमें चयन किए गए सदस्यों के द्वारा आपको मार्गदर्शन मिलेगा। उपस्थित सदस्यों में है श्रीमती अर्पणा कोलपुर, श्रीमती प्रिया उज्जैनकर, श्रीमती सना शेख, श्रीमती शिरीषा जेके, श्रीमती रेखा मिस्त्री, श्रीमान सत्यवान वाघमोड़े। मैं टाइम वेस्ट किए बिना आगे माइक हैंडओवर करना चाहूँगी मिसेस सना शेख को।
Good morning. Bharati Vidyapeeth English Medium High School presents webinar on National Education Policy 2020. We welcome all the parents and viewers on behalf of Bharati Vidyapeeth English Medium School. We are grateful to our iconic and visionary founder, Honorable Dr. Patangrao Kadam sir, who laid the foundation of this esteemed institution of education.
विज्ञान, गणित, इस प्रत्येक विषय में अधिक सार अवधारणा की चर्चा सीखने के लिए ध्यान देना। बहुविषय अध्ययन केवल 4 साल, जो एक सेकेंडरी स्टेज में हमें देखना है। इसमें गहराई से महत्वपूर्ण सोच, जीवन के लिए सफलता पाना, अधिक लचीलापन और छात्र की पसंद से उसके अनुसार विषय का चयन होना। अगले स्टेप।
Next slide, please.
Thank you, Satyavan sir and Sanamis. Now, as we know that NEP has now taken into consideration the pre-primary stage as well, that is the UKG, LKG, and the nursery into the mainstream. Earlier it was from 1 to 12 standard, which was under CBSE, but right now the pre-primary stages will also be included. So what is the aim of NEP for these stages? That is when we discuss about nursery, LKG, UKG, standard 1 and 2. NEP aims to attain foundational literacy and numeracy by grade 3. So what is this foundational literacy and numeracy? What is its aim for this stage? Let us discuss about that. Attainment of foundational literacy and numeracy by grade 3 is mission mode. So what is foundational literacy mean? Foundational literacy means that a child should be able to comprehend any sentence or understand the meaning of a sentence when he or she is reading it or when they are speaking about it. He or she should be able to identify the first and the final words in a sentence and understand the meaning about that. Foundational numeracy indicates the ability of a child to identify, differentiate the various digits or numbers in, and then the child should be able to perform small mathematical operations like addition, subtraction. Finally, the child should also be able to solve certain word problems, which will include both fundamental literacy and numeracy skills. So this is the main aim of NEP when it tries to include the pre-primary stage into the foundational area. So how these things can be attained? Now in the grade 1, before the grade 1, there will be a 3 months play-based school. Now what is this 3 months play-based school? Because the child is now transiting from UKG to grade 1, to make this transition smoother, the NEP has introduced this 3 months play-based school where the child will be made school ready for the next stage. National repository will be maintained. That means Entire digital libraries will be available to the students and the teachers throughout the country on Diksha platform, where they can have proper guidance and all the available resources. Libraries will be digitized. Yes, there will be no longer boundaries that libraries confined to a space. Libraries will be now available anywhere, anytime once they are digitized. Now, why this foundational literacy and numeracy is focused upon and why is it required? Foundational literacy and numeracy is the base for higher education. When the child reaches grade 3 or class 3, he is introduced into the core curriculum. If the child does not have a proper foundational literacy and numeracy, he will have learning gaps in the next stages, which will further go on increasing. But in that time, it will be very difficult to help the child. So, main focus of this stage will be making sure that the child attains the basic foundational literacy and numeracy. Next slide, please. Thank you. Next, come to the highlights of the pedagogical structure. When we say that we want to attain the foundational literacy numeracy skills, then we have to change the way in which we deliver a subject. So this slide indicates how these subjects or concepts will be delivered to a child, or what will be the main focus of teaching learning process. Highlights of the pedagogical structure. Competency based education. Now, what is the meaning of competency? Competency stands for the ability of a child to perform or to upon a given task with utmost efficiency. So he is not doing it for the sake of gaining marks or the practicals just for doing them, but he is able to do that with utmost efficiency. That is the meaning of competency. So the education now will be completely driven towards the competency, making the child completely able to take up the task or do it with efficiency, and he should be able to understand why that particular task is being performed. Next is integration of subjects. Integration of subjects, because teaching learning process or learning for a child can never be fragmented. We cannot say that yes, you have to learn maths in a certain way, English in a certain way. Everything are correlated. So why we have to have boundaries between the subjects? NEP has introduced that integration of subjects is very important for the smooth continuation of the learning process. So subjects will be correlated with each other or integrated. Like this year we have started art integrations, which will be further strengthened. Integration of arts, integration of sports will be further enhanced into subjects. Next, the pedagogical structure will also focus on development of scientific temper. Scientific temper means the child should be able, it should not be like, if I did not study this question, I don't know the answer. The child should be able to identify what is given information, what he has to supply the information, and how to achieve that particular goal. Next, there will be, as I told earlier, there will be no barriers between the subjects. Subjects will be correlated or interrelated. There will be no longer streams as science, art, humanities and commerce. Child can take up any combination of subjects which he likes to study or which he is interested in. And this will be applicable from grades 9 to 12. Emphasis on digital literacy. Yes, we have realized the importance of digital literacy. I think most parents and teachers had the challenge because students are already very much aware of the digital literacy. So why make our child deprived of it? We should make him ready for the next generation. So emphasis on digital literacy will be enhanced. The child will be able to understand what are the future requirements. Promotional of multilingual teaching, that means that if the child is comfortable in one or more languages, he will be provided the teaching or he will be provided the concepts in that particular language. So there will be no longer barriers that the child has to learn these concepts in English only, but he will now be helped in the teaching process with different languages, whichever he is comfortable in. Next slide, please. So when we see the overall framework of NEP, we understand that NEP is completely focusing the child or focusing on making the student future ready. Future ready means, as we see now, and if we compare 20 years or 10 years back, the job scenario has completely changed. So we cannot predict what will be the future situation, but we need to make our students and children ready for that particular situation they will be able to cope with. So what type of skills are we now introducing in our child so that he will be ready for the next generation and the future? Scientific temper, as I discussed earlier, collaboration, teamwork will be increased in the various activities so that he learns to interact with others effectively and divides the work efficiently. Digital literacy, problem solving, communication, critical thinking, creativity, health and fitness, social responsibility and ethics. These are the skills which will be more enhanced, or the focus will be enhancing on these particular skills. I now request our audience, parents, to please go through the attendance link which is provided in the chat box and please fill out that attendance and please do repeatedly do that. Okay, thank you. I now pass on the mic to Priya Miss to explain or to make us understand about the middle stage of the school which starts from standard 6 to 8.
From standard 6 onwards, introduction of contemporary subjects. Now the word contemporary means present period and modern current period. We will start with artificial intelligence. As you know that since it has already begun, but the more importance came in the school of artificial intelligence is due to the COVID. You see that we relate so many things with the digital, that is computer science is being brought into use. As you know that many things are related to machine which has capability of performing the task typically required by the human intelligence, that is robotics. Next is holistic health, which is related to physically, mentally, spiritually and emotional needs of the health, which is a must. Next is data science, which is again related to the scientific method. As we know that every year we conduct science exhibition, we ask the children to make models. Now this year the scientific methods are used, the processes are used and algorithm system is also used to make a model. Next we move to organic living. Organic word itself relates to living things. As you know that our country has an ancient history about agriculture. About more than 80% of the land is very good for cultivating, for using different methods of agriculture. We practice since from ancient time. So children will be taught here about organic farming, that is farming without using pests and fertilizers. Next is design thinking. Here again we use coding and decoding, which is become a very familiar thing these days. We see in TV that the courses are being held for coding and decoding, which is very important, and understanding and making new apps to make the things easier. Machine learning. Next is machine learning, which is used, scientific methods are used here, that is computational thinking and how the machines are designed and how it is used in our day-to-day life. I request for the next slide please. Now next one is year-long course during the grade 6 to 8, that is survey and hand-on experiments of sampling of important vocational crafts such as carpentry, electrical work, metal work, gardening, pottery making, etc. decided by the states and the local communities as mapped by the local skill needs. Means what? For example, I can give is, if I take Kolhapur, Kolhapur chappals are very famous. So the children will learn their local skills also, which is very important, and the child learns something out of the box here. Next, I will move.
Next slide, please.
Next slide, please. Mathematics and computational thinking. Here it increases the emphasis. Means express something which the child can learn and it becomes very interesting. That is throughout the school years, starting with the foundational stage, using a variety of innovative methods including the regular use of puzzles and games that makes mathematical thinking more enjoyable and engaging. Introduction of activities involving coding in middle stage. Next slide. Now this is very important here. We emphasize on vocational education. 10 days backless period during the grades 6 to 8 for students to intern with local vocational experts such as carpenters, gardeners, porters, artists, etc., which will increase or develop interesting for the children. Internship opportunities to learn vocational subject throughout the grades 6 to 12. Now vocational courses through online mode. Now here next one is periodic exposure to activities outside the school through like meeting local artists and craftsmen with a small questionnaire which will the children themselves will make a questionnaire and they will learn so many things in a practical way which they can remember for a longer time. Vocational courses to be offered through open and distance learning, that is ODL mode, by as NAP has a target by 2025 at least 50% of the learners shall exposure to vocational education which will develop the skills of every child.
I would like now request Satyavan sir to make us go through the same topics but in our national language Hindi.
ओके, थैंक यू सर। कार्यशाला में अगले विषय में हम देखेंगे कक्षा 6 से आगे सामायिक विषय में जानकारी प्राप्त कैसे करना है। तो सबसे पहले हम इसमें कृत्रिम बुद्धिमत्ता, संपूर्ण स्वास्थ्य, डेटा विज्ञान, प्रकृति जीवन, डिजाइन थिंकिंग, मशीन लर्निंग, तो इन विषयों के बारे में जानना जरूरी है। साल के लंबे पाठ्यक्रम के दौरान जो कक्षा 6 से लेकर 8वीं तक उस विषय के बारे में हम जानेंगे। सर्वेक्षण के और हाथों का अनुभव जो है यानी व्यावसायिक शिक्षा ये महत्वपूर्ण माना जाता है। तो व्यावसायिक शिल्प का नमूना जो है जैसे कि हम बढ़ईगिरी, बिजली का काम करने वाले लोग, बागवानी, मिट्टी के बर्तन बनाने वाले कुम्हार, तो आदि का शिक्षण प्राप्त कराना इसी कक्षा में जरूरी है। राज्यों में और स्थानीय कम्युनिटी द्वारा निर्णय लिया गया और स्थानीय कुशल जो आवश्यकता द्वारा मैप किया गया जिसके द्वारा यह शिक्षा दी जाए। अगले विषय में हम पूरे स्कूल में जो वृद्धि जो है छात्रों में शुरुआत से होनी चाहिए यह हमें ध्यान देना जरूरी है। इसमें विभिन्न प्रकार जो है जो उसकी पहेलियों के बारे में जानना जरूरी है, जो उसके खेल के बारे में या गणितीय शिक्षा हो तो अधिक सुखद और आकर्षित कैसे हो सकती है उसके बारे में ध्यान देना जरूरी है। इसमें शामिल गतिविधि जो है जो उसका परिचय जो है तो मध्य के चरण में हम कोडिंग में हम देंगे और जो छात्र से शिक्षा दिलाएंगे। अगले व्यावसायिक पाठ्यक्रम की ओर हम आएंगे जो छात्र को, जैसे मैंने पहले ही बता दिया था, बढ़ईगिरी का काम हो, माली का काम हो, कलाकारी मतलब कोई भी कारीगर हो, तो उसकी व्यवसायिक शिक्षा देना ये बहुत ही जरूरी है। जैसे कि इंटर्नशिप अवसर पर जो कक्षा 6 से लेकर 12वीं ग्रेड के लिए जो व्यवसायिक विषय में जो यहाँ जानने का अवसर छात्रों को प्राप्त होगा, इसमें ऑनलाइन के माध्यम से व्यवसायिक पाठ्यक्रम होना जरूरी है। जो 2025 तक कम से कम 50% शिक्षार्थियों को पास यह व्यवसायिक शिक्षा देने का यहाँ मकसद रहेगा। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड।
The next will be explained by Arpana.
Now, when we are talking about knowledge of India, now how the child will know about the country, about our own country. As we all know, when we talk about India, Indian culture, we feel proud of ourselves. Now, the time has come where we are not going to follow the Western culture, as we are going to increase the value of India by appreciating Indian culture, as India has become is the hub of knowledge. Basically, it is all about to bring out Indianism, putting the seeds of nationalism in each child. That has happened, that can happen with lot of intercultural mix. Like this year, as we started with art integration project, where Maharashtra.
सुप्रभात, मैं श्वेता चौहान, भारती विद्यापीठ इंग्लिश मीडियम हाई स्कूल।
That they are not physically sound, then that is of no use. As we all know, prevention is better than cure. So we are going to give in this NEP the personal and public hygiene information and first aid. Now I request Sanamis to put more focus on multilingual and language learning. Over to Sanamis.
Next slide, please. Before I explain, again I urge all the parents to please put their attendance on the attendance link back again. Now, this is a very positive step taken by NEP that the children should learn their or they should go in the learning process with the help of their mother tongue, which is a comfort zone for the children. Up till now, English is considered as an important language for learning from British times. It is said that if individual knows English, he is literate. But what about the understanding of concepts? And if the concepts are not understood, children are more likely to drop out from the school or fail in early grades. And even they are weak with their concepts. So, NEP is targeting now that home language or mother tongue or local language will be used as a medium of instruction so that they will understand the concepts till the grade 5 and preferably till grade 8. So that they will be familiarized with all the concepts, and also they aim at taking fun projects or activities in school so that children will learn the diversity of languages. So if the NEP focuses on mother tongue as the medium of instruction, reading, learning with better understanding, easy for the children. Even National Curriculum Framework for the school education, that is NCFSE, and the textbook are framed for very soon. They will be published by the National Education Policy in all regional languages. Now here the textbooks will contain first the core element on national level. That means the context will be related to the national levels concepts, whereas also the regional textbooks will be added with a supplement material for the child to learn about the things going all around in the local area and the needs about it. Where possible, school and teachers will also have the choices of textbook, but the core or the main book which has to be followed or the concepts which will be included will be according to the NCERT books. So principal textbooks will be related to national level study, and also it will have the supplementary material of local context. Over to Priya.
Now, I will request Priyanka to explain us or make us go to the next few slides, please.
Transforming assessment from the student's development. Now you see that the aim of this assessment is to shift from rote memorization skill to formative is more competency assessment. Here it promotes learning and development of students, that is, tests of higher order skills such as analysis, critical thinking and conceptual clarity. Next is assessment for learning, optimizes learning and development for all the students. This will be the underlying principle for assessment at all the levels of education, that is, all-round development of the child. Next slide, please. Now here you see that redesigning of report cards to assess holistic development of each child. Now here 360-degree holistic report card is all-round development. This holistic progress card will form an important link between home and school and will be accompanied by the parent-teacher meetings in order to actively involve parents in their children's holistic education and development. The results of the school examination, this can be presented to be used only for developmental purposes of the school education of child, for public disclosure by schools of their overall students' outcome, that is, anonymized students' outcomes, for continuous monitoring and improvement of the schooling system of a child. That is, here it includes progress in the project-based and inquiry-based learning, which the child can practically learn the things and remember, not rote memorizing. Second one is quizzes, role plays, group work, portfolio, etc. Third important point here included in the report cards are self-assessment and peer assessment. Next is progress in cognitive, affective and psychomotor domains. Next one is interactive questioning. Questionnaires for the parents, teachers and students are included. Teacher assessment is also included.
Now, Rekha Miss will take us further to the assessment process.
Next slide. Regarding guidelines for assessment. Guidelines will be prepared by NCERT in consultation with major stakeholders such as Boards of Assessment, BOAS, National Assessment Center for School Education, NAC, SE, etc. Now, NEP is focusing on implementation of skill education and competency-based education. But we want to understand, know the progress of a child will be assured. Next, the transformation in the assessment system by 2022-23 academic session to align with National Curriculum Framework for School Education, NCF SE 2020-21. Next slide, please. National Assessment Center for School Education NACSE. This center will advise the school boards regarding new assessment patterns and latest researches for promoting collaboration between the school boards, and the collaboration responds to the need to demystify the school improvement process. Why to collaborate? Choice, goals, needs, relationship, knowledge and skills. Process, content, skills, leadership is examined for its significance in collaboration and contribution to the social improvement process. To become an instrument for sharing of best practices between school boards, etc. About shifting their assessment patterns towards meeting the skill requirements of the 21st century and in agreement with the stated objectives of this policy. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Rekha Miss, for making us understand the assessment process. We'll further strengthen it. The next objective of the NEP is equitable and inclusive education. Now, NEP wants the entire society to be transformed, and to do that, education is the first and foremost vehicle to transform the entire society that we live in. This NEP, whenever as and when it will be implemented, it aims to provide an equitable and inclusive education. What is equitable? Every child has the right to be gaining the same amount of education or going through the same learning process as each other. So everyone, irrespective of the background the child belongs to, will be studying in an equitable environment to gain the learning. Inclusive education stands for every child will be included in the classroom or the learning process, no matter what background he is or what are his or her abilities. That means now NEP also will include the specially abled child in the normal mainstream schooling. There will no longer be barriers of mainstream and special educations, but they will be merged into one another. Next slide, please. Okay, so in order to effectively apply this NEP, CBSE has taken certain initiatives. Let's go through those initiatives. The first initiative is transforming assessment and examination. Of course, most of us have the doubt that when NEP will be implemented, it is focusing on skill education, it is focusing on competency-based education. Now, how these things will be assessed, or how to assess the learning progress of a child. So, for that, CBSE has initiated 500 competency-based test items for classes 1 to 5 related to the measurement of each learning outcome stipulated by NCERT. That means now the learning will be majorly focused on what are the outcomes of it. The child will be made aware what he is required to write or what he is required to understand at the end of each and every chapter. There will be a test run applicable of this NEP in the month of April or May in the upcoming session, that is 2021-22. Next is CBSE has also set up a center for assessment which will be preparing standardized rules for assessments. It will framework the blueprint, the question paper and various other aspects related to examinations. The training of paper setters and moderators is going on to standardize the question paper. Now, I think 10th and 12th parents will better understand that, and students will also better understand when I say about case-based study questions. This year, they are 10% in the question paper, or 10% of the questions in the question paper will be case-based study. What are these case-based study questions? These are not direct questions from the textbook, or directly we don't memorize them. They will be practical-based questions where the child has to understand the question, understand what is given information and then write the answer according to his or her knowledge. So these questions will now increase the weightage in the question paper. Now moving from 10%, they will now be 60% in the question paper. So assessment will overall focus on what activity the child has done, what are the parameters of judgment and how the question papers are effectively and effectively assessment will be carried out for the achievement of skill and competency education. Now I will request Arpana ma'am to take us through the next CBSE initiatives.
Now we are going to see curricular initiatives. Now in curricular initiatives, art and sports integrated education. Now in this, teaching and learning will be more interactive manner. In all stages, experiential learning will be adopted, including hands-on learning, will art integrated and sports integrated education will be there. Storytelling based pedagogies among others as standard pedagogies within each subject, and with exploration of relations among different subjects will be there. Now in maths and Hindi will be at 2 levels, English and Sanskrit will be introduced again at 2 levels from this session 2021-22. As Sanskrit is one of the language which holds the roots of all the languages. Sanskrit is the only language which can be computerized and which follows certain rules, and the exceptions are very few for this language. And it is a very effective language which is going to be in 21st century. Next comes introduction of 9 vocational courses of 12 hours duration in class 6 to 8 in 2020. So 9 vocational courses are going to be introduced in this for the classes 6 to 8. Next slide please. Now we are going to talk about ensuring competency-based education in schools. Now NCERT will give us a certain learning outcomes that we all have to follow. Then the child has to see the creative and critical thinking practice test will be there, informal assessments through student enrichment activities are going to be there. So a continuous process, a continuous assessment of the child is going to be there in this NEP. And introduction of the case-based questions in the question paper designs are going to be there. For teachers, mandatory online training on experiential learning and competency-based education is being framed. Then the development of resource material, handbook on experiential learning, teachers resource for achieving LO's term is all going to be provided by NCERT. Next slide please.
Yes, ma'am.
There are a lot of activities that CBSE conducts from time to time, which ensures more and more participation in these activities. Like Aryabhatta Ganit Challenge is there, Heritage India Quiz is there, CBSE Science Challenges are there, Science Exhibition, Khelo India, where CBSE is expecting children to participate more and more in this event and getting updated and acquire the skills of 21st century. Over to Sanamis.
Once again, I request all the parents to please put their attendance in the link. And also, if you have the queries regarding this new education policies, all your doubts are welcomed over here. You can put your questions in the chat box. We will try to answer with the utmost care, and we will try to solve your doubts. Now, actually, up till now, you all parents must have understood that what National Education Policy aims at. The whole educational procedure, learning procedure will be changed according to the needs of the future times. How the whole process will be changed, and surely in that we are changing the existing system of education, and now we expect the participation of the parents also in this learning procedure. So as a child learns in a natural environment, natural way through his experiences, along with the cooperation of parents and the society. Same way here now, parents will have to pay their part in the learning process for their child. So they will be engaged in their child's educational learning procedure, and they have to open their bags to help out on many levels. I would like to explain on the parents how they will be engaged, as well as the community will be engaged for positive learning environment of their child. First of all, parents will be regularly informed about expected learning outcomes. That means whatever is the learning procedure, what is the result, or why we are taking this particular concept, or why this thing is taught, what we will gain from it, that learning outcomes will be informed to parents regularly. Also, the child's portfolio, his whole profile will be revised regularly, and the parents will be also informed about the home assignments. So videos will be circulated to the parents from time to time regarding this. Now, if a child is facing some physical or learning disability, parents will be sensitized regarding that, and if parents are having the ideas, there will be a proper collaboration between parents and teachers, so that if the problems in the child are early detected, that will give early help to the child, and it will be better for the child in the learning process. Even teachers can make home visits that will develop a good rapport with the students as well as parents. This actually system was followed in olden times, but in the past few years we have seen that how there was a shift from this particular thing, but again we are going back to some olden styles and to retain the values everywhere. Even workshops will be arranged for parents on parenting or other topics like exam related anxieties or other stress, so that parents will be also in a comfort zone and they know how to collaborate with school and teachers for better learning process of their child. Parents will be also engaged, or they will be sensitized on the topics, sensitive topics like substance abuse, sexual orientation, or other adolescent problems, so that they can identify them at the right time and they can deal with it along with school and teachers. Constantly, parents will be sent information about activities and progress of the child in a regular monitoring mode. Portfolios will be sent for revival. Parents will be informed about what kind of assistance parents have to give for that particular child. See, parents usually, when the child is growing up, an infant is there, parents always monitor a child, that what will be safer thing, how the child will be protected, what things are good or bad for the child, that is explained every time. So here also in the schooling process, parents will be equally participating and they will be always all around the child. Even regular newsletters, emails, blogs, these will be the regular features of national education policies. Parents can volunteer foundational literacy, numeracy, field visits, sports, exhibitions. Now previously what used to happen, if an exhibition is there, parents will help their child to make the model and that will be exhibited in the school. But now parents will also actively take part in all these events like exhibitions, annual functions, school magazine, everywhere. Somewhere I am trying to warn parents that they will be also in the learning procedure along with the child. Exposure will be there by the lectures conducted by the parents, specialists like a counselor, doctor, sports person, filmmaker, so that they will impart their information to other parents also, whatever they are specialized in, as well as they will give it to the children also. And regular PTMs will be organized, specific events will be organized for the parents. If we will involve parents in community outreach work, that is community service work, which will be undertaken by the school. So it is collaboration between parents, teachers and students. Over to Satyavan sir.
Thank you, sir. Satyavan sir.
कार्यशाला का अगला विषय जो पाठ्यचर्या संबंधी के उपक्रम के बारे में जानेंगे, जो इसमें गणित और हिंदी जो दो स्तर पर होगी। इसमें अंग्रेजी और संस्कृत भी जो है जो सत्र 2020-21 के दो स्तर पर रहेगा। तो इसमें अलग अलग मौखिक कहानियां हैं, गेमिंग है, छात्रों के लिए हमें किस तरह से बताना है, तो कहानियों के द्वारा उनको शिक्षा देना एक सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बात होगी। अगले विषय में हम स्कूल में जो गुण पर आधारित शिक्षा सुनिश्चित करना, इस विषय के बारे में देखेंगे, जो इसमें सीबीएसई के द्वारा जो सीखने के परिणामों को अनिवार्य रूप को अपनाना, यह हमें देखना है। जो छात्र संवर्धन गतिविधि हो और प्रश्न पत्र में जो सराव परीक्षा में असेसमेंट हो, तो उसके द्वारा जो माध्यम में मूल्यांकन में जो रचनात्मक या महत्वपूर्ण कार्य जो है उसका भी परीक्षण करना जरूरी है। अनुभवात्मक अधिगम योग्यता के आधार पर जो शिक्षा को अनिवार्य कराना या ऑनलाइन प्रशिक्षण दिलाना, यह छात्रों के लिए आवश्यक है। अगले विषय में हम आएंगे, जो छात्रों के लिए क्रियाकलाप एक्टिविटीज हम लेते हैं, जो सीबीएसई में अभी भी हम लेते हैं। तो उसमें आर्यभट्ट गणित चैलेंज, विरासत भारत द्वारा प्रश्नोत्तरी, EBSB एक्टिविटीज क्रियाकलाप, सीबीएसई के द्वारा विज्ञान की चुनौती, विज्ञान प्रदर्शनी, खेलो इंडिया, अभिव्यक्ति श्रृंखला और वाचन चुनौती का समावेश होगा। अंत में हम जो सकारात्मक विचार सीखने के लिए जो अभिभावक के साथ जो उनका सहयोग और समुदाय का वातावरण भी छात्रों के साथ होना जरूरी है। जो छात्रों को हम क्रियाकलाप देते हैं, तो उनके साथ छात्रों के माता पिता हो तो उनका सहभाग होना चाहिए। इसमें छात्र किस प्रकार कर रहे हैं उनको प्रेरित करना है, इसी तरह से हमें ध्यान में रखना है।
Thank you so much, Satyavan sir, for making us go through the important points in our comfort language, Hindi, once again. I would request Sana Miss to give us the final outline of NEP.
So, parents must have understood new national education policy is complete revised education procedure for children as well as parents also. They focus on Indian ethos, that is developing a feeling of nationalism among the children, and children will be prepared in such a way that they can have a problem solving mind. They will be competitive, which will suit them in any situation which they face in their future life. I request all the parents now that if they have any doubts regarding all this, they will please put up in their chat box. Also, please place your attendance on the attendance link given below. One important point surely I would like to stress that this is all the framework. This already has been started. Government is working on all these things. How it will be implemented, that will be gradual process in the year 21, 22, 23. So, implementation exactly or the shift will be there surely for the next academic year, but it will be a gradual shift. So, we are also as equally new as parents are. but surely we will be the first people, teachers, who will explain all the procedures as we will be guided by the CBSE. Thank you, parents.
Thank you, Sanamis. Now I would like to take few questions which we already have. First question is to Rekha Miss. What is the minimum age limit for Bal Vatika or pre-primary admission?
Thank you, Miss. The minimum age for pre-primary group will be 3 years.
Thank you, ma'am. The next question which we have is the medium of instruction in mother tongue till class 5 or till class 8? This I would request Satyavan sir to answer. I will repeat the question. Is the medium of instruction in mother tongue till class 5 or class 8?
Class 8 के
Yes. So it is made mandatory. It is applicable till 5, but if the child requires it, it will be till class 8 as well, right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Then the next question is: will all the boards follow NEP? I will request Priya Miss to answer the question.
Yes.
I'll repeat the question once. Will all the boards we have follow NEP?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Priya Miss. I think all boards will be there, but everything will be framed according to NEP. And the implement, as Sana Miss said, will be a gradual process. So we have to wait till that time. Thank you, Priya Miss. Then the next question: will all the boards follow the same textbook? I think this is a continuation question of the previous one. Will all the boards follow the same textbook? Okay. So I will answer the question. As NEP discusses that it will form a body which will be in collaboration with all the boards that we have today. So the textbooks will also be framed giving equal importance to the national content as well as the local content. So the framework will be same, yes, but the exact same textbooks we have to see what CBSE is implementing. So yes, I will say yes, the content of these textbooks will be same across. The next question which we have is if a child gets transferred from one state to another, will there be any variation in the syllabus, textbook and pattern of examination? I will answer the question again. So the question is, if a child gets transferred from one state to another, will there be any variation in syllabus, textbook and pattern of examination? So as of now, what information we have from CBSE about the NEP is, as I told earlier, NEP is working across all over the states in India, and among all the boards there will be a collaboration. So syllabus, I think, will be streamlined further and the textbook's content will be kept constant. The national content will be same, but the local text will change. Yes, when the child changes from one state to another, the local content of his or her textbook might change. The pattern of examination, as we have now 10th and 12th, no doubt where you are from, 10th and 12th pattern of examination is same. So I think the pattern of examination will be further streamlined by NEP and in collaboration with NCERT and other boards of examinations. Thank you, parents. If you have further doubts, please put it in the chat box. And I will urge you again to fill your attendance in the attendance link provided. Thank you.
Thank you.
सुप्रभात। मैं
The national content will be same.
सुप्रभात। मैं श्वेता चौहान, भारतीय विद्यापीठ इंग्लिश मीडियम हाई स्कूल